Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield in the company of legends and geniuses. And today, Richard and Adam, how are you, boys?
Very well, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm delicious, thank you, and all the better for talking to you, because we've not spoken before, which is always great for me, because I like to start at the beginning and tell your story. There you were, just two lads singing for a living, working hard, doing the clubs, doing the cruises. Then you appear on a Simon Cowell show, and now you're here talking to me 3 albums later. Congratulations.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, we never thought in our wildest dreams that we'd be on album number 3 now, and what is so great about it is obviously it shows the record label, I guess, that we're obviously, you know, selling well and everything's going in the right direction, which is extremely important, because obviously the fans are the people that support us and invest in you, and they're the people that keep your dream alive. So we're always going to give 150% in everything we do to try and sing for the rest of our lives. Touch wood, fingers crossed. That's all you can hope for, really.
And what's amazing is you're the antithesis to most of the people who go on those talent shows. You actually have talent. You weren't there for mockery. It's always a risk, though, isn't it, that it could backfire and that you could be made to look silly. Did you ever worry about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we went on the show, it's a scary thing, because if we'd have gone on that first audition and say it had gone well and we'd have been shown live on the telly and then got kicked out of the next stage, it's always going to be hard to get that platform then. So making it through all the way to the final, I think, really helped me and Richard to get where we are today.
Let's talk about you. Congratulations, firstly. You were a big fatty just a couple of years ago, and you were a salad dodger. Now here we are with bowls of fruit. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It took a lot of hard work, but I got there in the end. I started on Christmas Eve, which Mum wasn't too happy about. She was saying, you need to enjoy your Christmas. But no, I said to her, why can't I start now? I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to do it. I was dedicated to it, and I lost it in the end. I mean, it was strange because I never felt that big, but when I seen photos and myself next to Richard on stage and that, it wasn't looking good, and I just thought, I've got to sort this out.
Was there a moment when you actually cared? I mean, I was 18 stone 5 years ago, and there was a point where I looked in the full-length mirror and thought, you are disgusting. Before that, it didn't bother me. Was it the being on telly that really got to you?
Yeah, definitely. It was exactly that. There was a thing on, obviously, with the egg throwing that happened to me and Richard in the final. At the end of the year, there was something shown just before Christmas, utterly outrageous moments of 2013. And I was doing an interview on it, and I seen myself, and I thought, I'm not that big. And my dad went, you are. I went, right, okay, this is it. I said, time to sort it out. So seeing myself on the telly, if it wasn't for that, maybe I wouldn't have known it, and I might have put more weight on. So I couldn't really see it in a mirror, which isn't it strange, really? Yeah, I looked in the mirror and I thought, but now when I look in the mirror, I can see that I was so big. But I did a thing called Insanity, and I did the gym at the same time. So I was doing weights in the gym, Insanity on the night, and then I did Herbalife, which was the 2 shakes. But I sometimes worry about doing diets and things, obviously, because I know once you diet, the weight just goes because you're taking less food in. But then as soon as you start eating again, as I know, I did Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, everything, the weight goes back on. But the way to keep the weight off is to just for me, is to just go to the gym. It's the only way. And these days I eat healthy, but sometimes I can't eat what I want as long as I keep going to the gym.
Have you had the approach yet from the mucky magazines, the Nuts magazines, to take your clothes off for the ladies?
We did one yesterday, actually, for the So-So Game magazine. And I was dressed up as Terminator with a leather jacket on.
Are you comfortable doing that stuff? Because that's the silly side of show business. I mean, it's all good putting a tux on and singing. Yeah. You're great at singing. When they say, can you do these silly photo shoots, are you comfortable with it, Richard?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all a good laugh, and we've always been sort of, you know, with the family, had a good laugh, and we've always been dead open, really. So just having a bit of fun, and it keeps things sort of light-hearted, and it's not so serious all the time. And I mean, it was funny. I was dressed as Leonardo DiCaprio with a Hawaiian t-shirt on, and there's Adam with a leather jacket with no t-shirt on, which was a great laugh. I mean, we were both in hysterics laughing, and it just adds that bit of fun into life. And it was a really great laugh on it. We did howl bad.
Joking aside, have you found a difference in the way that women and even some men approach you now? Do they look at you differently? Are you treated differently, or has nobody noticed in real life?
Yeah, the people have definitely noticed. I can tell straight away. I mean, it's people. The way that it helped me lose weight really was by people coming up to me and saying, God, you've changed so much already, and that gave me confidence then to keep on going. If no one had said anything, I'd have thought, I can't be bothered doing this, but it gave me motivation to keep on going, and I was so dedicated to it. You've got to be so careful that you don't be so strict, because then it can get a bit silly. I mean, with my weight, my whole life has been up and down, but now I'm in the right place, and I'm sticking to where I am, and I'm trying to just get a bit of muscle on now and bulk up a bit. But you have to be careful. I mean, like I say, a few years ago I was gymming it every day, 7 days a week, and I wouldn't even put a bit of chocolate in my mouth, and I put a bit in, I get the taste and I'd spit it out, which is too strict. So now I'm in a good place. I'm eating occasionally nice foods and things, and just sticking to a healthy diet, and I feel so much better in myself. It's crazy.
And again, this is it for life now. You want to stay at this, and I don't want to embarrass you, Richard, but I mean, do you feel he could be stealing the limelight? Because I mean, you were meant to be the hot one and he was the chubby one on the side. It was a bit like the G4 thing, wasn't it? The fat one on the end.
Well, I think, to be honest, Adam's always had more of the women on his side, and it's always been sort of the men on my side, really. And I've been the same way since I was 15 years old, and I can eat chocolate to my heart's content. And a lot of women say to me, they go, "Oh, we'd love that," but when you're a man, you like to be a little bit bigger. You don't want to look at you 12 years old all your life. So that's why I try and grow a beard.
As I say, he'll put the weight on eventually. It'll hit him soon.
Absolutely. And then very finally, on a personal level, you have to worry about the bits that sort of sag when you lose a lot of weight quickly. How are you looking? Are you a mess or are you okay?
Luckily, I'm okay. I think it's because I'm 20. It's staying okay. My dad told me that. He said if you'd have started when you was a bit older, he said you'd be sagging.
You don't want that, do you? Nobody wants dangling like stalactites. You don't want that.
Hopefully not. You see that on embarrassing bodies and things like that, don't you? People have to have it all chopped off and things. But they can do miracles now. You watch that program, you see you start and you think, oh, how's this going to look at the end? And they do incredible work, don't they?
Yeah, going from Simon Cowell to embarrassing bodies wouldn't be a career move at this point, would it really?
No, I don't think so. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Let's talk about this new album, and then we're going to talk more about you and that incident that I think probably made you. When you put in Richard and Adam on Google, the thing that's seen the most is your final performance. Let's talk about the voices. Firstly, this brand new album's called At the Movies, and it's out on Monday. It really is terrific, and the track I loved the most was the Parlepui piano, which you do so beautifully, this Godfather anthemic theme. Your voices are so incredible. I can't believe you can be trained to sing like that. You must have been born singing, yeah?
Well, it's unusual, really. I mean, because we didn't sing until about 5 years ago. And Dad's always sung, and Mum and Nan, and it's always been there, and our older brother, and we've always sort of done a bit of karaoke and things like that. But my voice never really developed until I was like 18, 19 years old. And Adam's was about 15, wasn't it? Yeah. And it sort of all came into light, really, when we started singing some songs with Nan, wasn't it? And really starting to learn some of the musical theatre stuff. And then that sort of moved us on to more classical things. But we've always sort of had to self-teach ourselves, because obviously when we were working in the sandwich shop, singing lessons can be £30 to £60 an hour, and there was no way. I was only on £150 a week, so I wasn't going to be losing half my wages. I wouldn't have been able to afford my car, so it was very difficult. So I spent a lot of time online learning, and in the last couple of months, actually, we have just started taking some opera lessons from some opera singers, which travel all over the world. So that's been really interesting, sort of just to apply technique, really, and make sure that when you're younger, you can sing for as whatever you want, because obviously your muscles are a bit more stretchy in your throat and things and that. But when you get a bit older, things tighten up a little bit, and it's just about singing in the right way and making sure that it lasts as long as possible. And that's really why we're going down the route of trying to get some professional training.
Is this the dream now, that you've got a credible career, you made it through the reality TV stuff, nobody's talking about that anymore, they're talking about your music, your tours, your CDs, and you're able to perform live in big arenas, really? I mean, compared to where you were performing, it's the dream, isn't it? It doesn't get much bigger.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. I mean, doing the tour, the theatres that we did were absolutely stunning, like the Symphony Hall in Birmingham and Gateshead. When we arrived at them, we were like, wow. And we didn't know that people would actually, when we seen the theatre, we thought, me and Richard aren't seriously going to get people to fill in this theatre out, are we? And literally when we got there, Mum and Dad came backstage and they said to us, listen, there's thousands of people out there. And we were like, whoa. And like when we got on stage, you could see everyone. And I was like, these people are supporting us and coming to see us, and it means the world to us both. And to do a tour in February and March with 20 odd dates that we did was fantastic, to give something back to all the people who have voted for us, and really now to be doing another one we couldn't ask for anything more. In the space of a year and a half, 3 albums and 2 tours, it's just a dream come true for us both.
Was there a moment where you woke up one morning and felt like you'd qualified and you could do it on stage and walk on with absolute confidence that you were qualified to do it?
I don't think there's any sort of time where that point come into mind. I think there's always nerves and you know, that sort of anxiety that comes with going on stage, because it is a scary experience and you don't want to forget the words and you don't want to go out of time, and you know, there's all that. But I think at the same time is the adrenaline kicks in and you sort of start getting really into it, and having that nerves is almost like, you know, it's almost like people enjoy bungee jumping or skydiving. You get a thrill from it, and I think that's definitely what we get from it. And the more times you go on stage, and the more times you're singing, and you're going into certain environments like theatres or an arena, you get sort of more and more confident with it, and things get a bit easier. And the more you do it, and you start to sort of develop an on-stage relationship a little bit more, not just like, you know, you're having a chat at home. And you know, it just all comes with experience. And you know, hopefully one day we'll be in the same position as Tom Jones in our 70s, you know, still going.
And I guess that's the ultimate success, isn't it? Consistency and still being at it. I want to talk about the thing that is, of course, the thing you're most famous for, and that waking up on a Sunday morning and finding yourself on the front of the national papers, all of them, because some moron decides to destroy your performance and effectively makes your career. How do you view that now? That lady did something that's unthinkable. You should never steal the limelight for your own agenda. She chose to do that, but it got you everywhere. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, at the time when that happened, me and Richard we were devastated. But when it first happened, we didn't know it was happening. We thought like the show was going off air, because in the 7 years the show's been running, or 8 years, what it is now, something like that's never happened. And just before we went on stage, we said to each other, nothing's going to go wrong, we can do this. And out we went, and that happened. So we were absolutely gutted, and we thought, what's happening? And as I like looked on the floor, I could see all the egg yolk and that, and I thought it was just a mad experience. And we came off and we were gutted, and we didn't know what was going to happen, how it would affect the results, and it was quite a hard time. But now looking back, obviously, like you say, it's done us more good than bad. I mean, like they say, like bad publicity is good publicity, and it really has helped us, and it's made people see us. It went out to America, where Simon Cowell, because it was to do with Simon Cowell, so people heard us and seen us. So it's done fantastic for us, really. And now we look back and really we laugh about it a bit, and we think, but at the time it could have gone wrong. But Sony stuck by us, and within 3 days of the show, or a week of the show, they said to us, we want to sign you and do an album with you. So
I think the reason, though, is how you dealt with it. The fact you weren't aware of the beginning of it's neither here nor there. By the time that she'd finished, you were aware and you carried on. If you'd have broke down, stopped, or destroyed your performance, I think people had gone, nah. But the British love the underdog that carried on, got to the end and got the cheer. That was your stroke of genius. And that, of course, is down to experience, isn't it? That you'd done that for a long time. I think anyone else coming on that stage for the first time would have been absolutely destroyed by it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big help. I mean, when we were in the Birkenhead Operatic Society, when we first started sort of singing, and we were just doing little concerts and things like that, there's a lady there called Elsie Kelly. She's in Benidorm, actually, and she just said, if anything ever goes wrong on stage, she said, you must keep singing. And when you're in a society like that, and you know, you're doing the occasional concerts and things like that, like things have happened before where the piano's been going and the music's been in the wrong order, and you jump from the start of the song to the end of the song. And when stuff like that happens, you know, it just light events like that, you sort of learn to deal with it. And I think that was sort of all the experiences we'd gone through, and getting to that final point on Britain's Got Talent where something like that happened on a massive scale, which could have been really detrimental to us, and sort of having that experience of dealing with things going wrong. And always, you know, what else he always said to us is the show must go on, and that's something we've always stuck by, and thankfully, you know, it does stand.
Well, I don't think anybody who hasn't stood on a stage could understand how difficult it was for you to continue and deal with it with such humility as you did. Congratulations on everything. This album is fantastic, really beautiful, tremendous. Find them on YouTube. Go on tour with them next year. From March, you're on the road. Richard and Adam's new album, At the Movies, is in your stores now. Guys, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, mate.